Well, happy Friday, September 15th to all of you Glory Project Ministry, prayer warriors and partners and fellow ministers of the gospel. I just want to say thank you for your continued partnership in being able to take the gospel to the unreached people groups of Asia. Because of one faithful donor, just within the last couple weeks, we've been able to send out over 20 new missionaries to engage work. And so thank you so much for being able to come alongside and accomplish this Great Commission task of making disciples of all nations. Now, for this post, I wanted to share with you all that about the church in Singapore. The church in Singapore really experienced some great growth in the 80s and early 90s, but recently we've kind of seen a decline in there because of the new generation that hasn't had, in particular, that connection with the church and is living in a more pluralistic society. And so a study was done by the Generations Project focused on bridging the generational divide in the Singaporean church. And this group put this study together to see if what we're kind of experiencing here in the States might also be happening in Asian context. And so the result of their study was this. Number one, Gen Z actually truly values the institutional church. As they studied all of these individuals across several churches, the number one thing that stood out that they realized in the study was that the church was the stability and focus for many of these Christians, especially in the time of COVID. So that's encouraging to see that they see the value in the institutional church and the direction and the guidance that it provided in a time that was very unstable. But number two, this was the other thing this study found, that Generation Z is missing in most churches. You see, what happened is as young families were beginning to have kids and life happened and they got involved in activities and somehow slipped out of heavily involvement in the church, what happened is pastors and leaders just simply cast them off. And so as a result of that, about 1/3 of those Gen Zers in institutional churches are no longer back because they felt like no one cared for them. And so that's a wake-up call all across the world to once again reach back out to those Gen Zers, those just a little bit younger than me who went and had life, but still want church involvement. Now, the third thing that they discovered is that mentoring exasperated that tension in the church. You see, baby boomers in the 80s, they didn't value mentorship. In fact, they went to the great giants of the faith, C.S. Lewis, A.W. Tozer, all of those guys, and read and said, those are my mentors. But now what we're seeing with that younger generation, mine and those even younger, is a desire to go deep, to have deep relationship with others. And so this is a call for pastors and leaders in the church to say, hey, yes, come alongside of us. We want to do life together. I'll share my experience and I'll try to understand your context and talk about what it means to be a Christian in today's society that's very pluralistic and welcoming, and how we can stand out and be faithful as Christians. Well, I wanted to share that with you because I thought that brought a lot of insight, not only for the church in Asia, but across the world. And a reminder that if you're in the Colorado Springs area, our celebration, our fourth annual event is October 12th from 6 to 9 p.m. And you can go to the website, www.thegloryproject.net, and there you can register. Well, God bless. And again, thank you all for your support.